Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. If you have my voice, please just confirm in the box so we can start the class. Okay. If you remember, last week we discussed the ports, okay, and the concept of the IP addresses and ports in adding the rules and policies to the firewall. Rules in Arabic, I think as Farsi is قواعد قانون, okay. Today we want to just go قواعد. Yes, exactly. Today we want to go on detail for قواعد for designing a firewall. So in the box I will write example and نموذج. Okay, in the box I will write an example for you to read or make a copy. It's important for your exam or it's important for امتحان. Okay, and then I will go to the whiteboard and start to solve the problem. Okay, so it's I write it here. It's an example. Okay, it's misal. Okay, it's misal, and I try to see what happens. I try to write the problem statement in Arabic. Okay, assume, using the Google Translate, assume you have a network. Copy. Okay, assume you have a network على شبكة with following details. مع تفاصيل تالية. Okay, with following details. Okay, and then we want to draw the network, and then it's easy now. I can write it in English. Okay, design the network, and it's important that you know these parts in English, because also in Farsi we don't have some of the words for that, and it's better because it's technical. It's easier or better that we use the English form. So design the network, assign the firewalls. Okay, design the network, assign the firewalls. Okay, and write firewall rules. Okay, قواعد firewall. Okay, write اكتب, I think, firewall rules. Okay, this is the problem statement. The network is as follows. Consider that you have in the network, you have users. They don't need internet, no internet. You have DHCP server, you have DNS server, you have web server, and DNS, DHCP web, database server. Okay, you have database server, and then you also have one manager that can connect from his home. Okay, and a manager that can connect from his home. Okay, so, and also we can connect from his home to for example, but not database server 2. Okay, it's 2 database server. Okay, so this is the whole story, and this is the whole thing, the problem statement, and then we will go to the solution. Okay, was it clear? Again, you should come back to the note. It's a namuzaj. Okay, they said the sound is not good. If it continued, I can what we say, I can change my link. Okay, I will type in the box for those who come with the telephone. Yes, exactly, Rion. Yeah, this is similar to the امتحان. Okay, افترض ان لديك هذا الشبكة. Okay, and مع تفاصيل تالية with following details. Now, okay, so what you should do is that A, design the network. B, assign the firewalls. C, write firewall rules. Okay, just please help me and translate this part to Arabic. Okay, this is the whole example. So when you want to design the network, as I taught you in the previous sessions, you should have 3 layers for the network. Okay, for each zone I told you that it's better to have 3 layers, or in design we always will have 3 layers. And while I am drawing, you can just tell me what were the 3 layers. Okay, thank you, Rasha. Yes, exactly. So in this example, you should define 3 different zones. As Rasha said, this is inside, okay, and this is DMZ, okay, and this is outside, which is internet, okay, and that's outside, which is internet. So now we are going to put the servers inside the layers. The first server that I discussed here, it's the first thing is users. So users for the company, they should be inside the network. So they are here. Okay, these are the users. And we said that it is not necessary for users to have internet. So for users, no internet. Okay, I'll write it here. These are users. Okay, the second thing that we should have in the network, it's based on the problem statement, it's DHCP server. DHCP is a server that assigns IP to the users. Okay, So because DHCP assign IP to the user, so it's better to put DHCP inside. So I will put DHCP inside the network. Okay. The next server is DNS. For DNS, it's a little bit tricky. DNS should be updated from the internet. So because you don't want to open access from the internet to inside server, it's better that you put two DNSs for the systems. The first DNS is here inside, so we call it local DNS. Okay, then the second DNS is DMZ DNS. Okay, and also because I need to upgrade or update the DNS information, not upgrade, update the DNS information from the internet, I will add another DNS which is on the internet. This is Google DNS. Okay, I need that to write the rules for updating the DNS. Okay, so this is for DNS. The first DNS or local DNS, I put it inside. The second DNS, I put it in the DMZ, and also I need one root DNS on the internet. The third server that we need is web server. Where should we put the web server? Inside or outside? You tell me. Outside. Riyam, when students answer me, it means that the problem is from your side. Okay, I think they have my voice and they can hear me. Not exactly outside. It's better because for the web server you need the access from the outside, but you also need to access database from web server. Okay, so it's better that you put web server here in DMZ. You see, this is web server. Okay, because from one side it needs to access the inside network, but from another side users from the internet should have access to the web servers. And what about the database? What about database? Exactly, yeah. The database should be inside. So we put database server inside because it's very important that we keep the data to ourselves. Now also it says that we have one manager that he desires or he plans to access the data from the internet. So this is the manager, okay, on the internet. It's, or we call it, and we can write it manager's home. Okay, this is his home. And then the manager from his home, it's in the question, only in the problem statement, that the manager from his home should have access to the network. His home should have access . Okay, this is the Arabic. Okay, مدير من منزله يجب أن يكون له حق الوصول. Okay, access to the allow, and this is allow database. Okay, the manager should have access from home to the database which is outside the corporation. This is the company. This is شبکات. Okay, and this is the net. Can you hear me right now? Because we missed the network. Okay, yes, it was just a delay in the network. Yes, Hossein, I will repeat. Okay, just everybody. Okay, everybody tell me صدا قطع و وصل میشه for everybody or no? Does this problem is for everybody or just some of you? For those who the صدا is okay, just put plus. Those who have problem with صدا or for my voice, just put minus. For me to see. Okay, now what is the problem? Okay, sound is okay, clear, plus. Okay, everybody. So for most of the students, the problem there is no problem. So the problem is with those that the internet. I think the problem is with their own internets. Okay, it's not with me or on my side. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for clarification. Again, I repeat what I discussed here quickly. You see, when we have a network based on the security rules, we divide network into 3 sections. Okay, اول ثانی ثلاثه. The first section should be inside. The second section ثانی is DMZ. The third section ثلاث is internet. Okay, this was something that I taught you before. So you should decide. Decision or make decision. Decision in Arabic is qarar. Okay, you should decide whether to put your servers inside in DMZ or outside. This is your decision. Okay, this is your qarar. Okay, now we decided to put the users inside there. So this is the shebkat. Okay, and this is the internet. This is shebkat, this is internet, and we designed that we should have one DMZ. So we already decided that we should put computers inside, we should put DHCP inside, we should put local DNS inside, we should put database inside, and then we should put one DMZ DNS for updating from the internet in the DMZ, and for web server for accessing the users from internet in the DMZ, and then we put Google DNS outside and manager outside. This is the design. The whole thing is design of the network. Okay, that was the answer to the first part. Okay, or this was answer to the first part of the question. Okay, کان هذا اجابت علی جزء الاول من السؤال. Okay, كانت هذا اجابت علی جزء الاول من السؤال. Okay, this is Arabic. Okay, yes. Okay, the first thing. The second thing, it asks you where to put the firewalls. Okay, now how many firewalls we need in this design? How many firewalls? You just give me the number. 2, exactly. We can design this one with 1 firewall, or we can design it with 2 firewalls. I already taught you that as well. Okay, we already discussed it in the class. So in this design we put 2 firewalls. Okay, so these are 2 firewalls, okay, that we put here, and then this is, we call it, this is firewall F1 in here, and this is firewall F2. So the third part, it says that, okay, write the firewall rules. Write the rules in Arabic. اكتب or اكتب, I don't know. قواعد. Okay, اكتب قواعد. Now we should go to write the rules. Just make sure, yeah, كتابة القواعد. Okay, make sure that you understand when you have 2 firewalls, you need 4 sets of rules. Please help me with translating to this one. You see, when you have 2 firewalls, you need 4 sets of rules. Okay. The first rule is for F1 is the rule, just let me change the size, it's 1, okay. Two firewalls, please write it in Arabic, okay? 2 firewalls means 4 set of rules. The first rule is from out to in on F1, in to out on F1, out to in on F2, and in to out on F2. 4 set of rules we need. Okay, so let me put the shortcut here, and managers put it here so I can have enough space. Yes, exactly, Ibrahim. Yes, yeah, the one set is in to out. The second is out to in. Okay, so we go to write the rule. The first rule we want to write is from, or for, it's better we say for F2 rule out to in. Okay, the first set of rule is for F2 and it is for out to in. Okay, we can write it like this. Whatever comes from Google DNS, this can be IP address, okay, and then the port is 53, which is for DNS. It comes to DMZ DNS, and the port is any, and then the DNS is UDP permit. Okay, this is the first rule I wrote. You see, we say whatever comes from Google DNS, okay, to DMZ DNS. Whatever comes from Google DNS to DMZ DNS. 53 is the number of port for DNS. and DMZ DNS is client for Google DNS, because it goes to ask Google DNS what should it do. And the UDP, we say that we permit. Okay, this is the first rule. The second rule is that we should open the web server. Anyone on the internet from any port can send a packet to web server AT TCP permit. Okay, okay, so anyone on the internet can access the web server with port AT, web server, HTTP is TCP, and we say okay, everybody can access the web server from the internet. Okay, another rule, the next rule is about, we wrote the rule on DNS, we wrote the rule on web server. Another one is about the manager. Assume that manager has a static IP. We say from manager any packets that come from the manager to DB server, for example, consider that the DB server port is 1443. Okay, this should be in the problem statement. You don't need to memorize the numbers. Okay, DB server, consider that, I forgot to tell you, DB server is 443 TCP. No, Ibrahim, you should write it based on your own design. Okay, it differs from one network to network. First you design the network, then you write the rules. Okay, based on the requirements. I will later I will give you the example that where or in what situations you cannot use these rules. Okay. Okay, so manager any to DB server 4043. So we say consider we assume that database is TCP, and then we say manager any to DB server 4043 TCP. We say permit. So with if firewall 4, how many bases will be? If you mean how many qawaid, is 4 multiplied 2, it's equal to 8. So now we open the DNS server, we open the web server, we also open the manager, and we don't need anything else. So we say at the end, we say any TCP UDP deny, okay, or do not allow. It's something like this. This is the first rule set on F2 out to in. Okay, this was the first rule that we wrote. It was on F2. It's better that I put the users here. I take it up so I can write the rest. Take it up to here. Okay, this is F2 out to in. Now I will write F2 into out. Okay, F2 into out. The first thing on F2, again, we should talk about DMZ DNS as it was, on the above rule. So I should add one rule from DMZ DNS. Whatever goes to Google DNS, whatever the port is 53 and the protocol is UDP, and we say allow or permit. Permit was or allow is same thing. Okay, we say permit. DMZ DNS, any port to Google DNS 53 UDP permit. Okay, the next thing, it was about web server. So we say from web server to any with any port TCP permit. Okay, this is to open the web server that the packets from web server can go out. Okay, now this is one rule, and this is second rule, and the third rule is from DB or database server, or DB server. DB server port 4043 to, for example, manager's IP port any permit. So from DB server 4043 to manager, any port, the IP manager or IP for manager, and any port TCP permit. Okay, so this was there were 4 rules above, and now there should be 4 rules here, and at the end, what is the last rule? We always put after we open some of the ports, we close all of the ports. Okay, we deny everything, any, yes, TCP UDP, deny. You see, if I put this rule at the beginning, your network will be disconnected, all the traffic will be blocked, okay, and you will have no connection. But when you put at the end, first these 4 rules, they will first allow DNS, they will check this one, then second check this one, third checks this one. If it's okay, then it goes to the last rule that drop the packet. So the third one is I will write it here. Now I should write a rule for, these are for F2. It's up there. Hossein, it's here, it's written here. Let me point it out. You see it's here. Okay, and also if you look at the rules, you can realize whether they are for F1 or for F2. Okay, that's here. Now we go to the F1. Okay, and this is F1 first out to in. Okay, F1 out to in. So F1, what we are allowing to from the DMZ to inside the network, whatever we allow or permit from DMZ to inside the network, we should check and then write the rule to open it, and the rest we will close. So the first thing is from DMZ DNS. Exactly. DMZ DNS, now it's the server for updating the local DNS. Exactly. DMZ DNS to local DNS, and the port any, because local DNS is client and DMZ DNS it's a server, and then any UDP permit. So this is the first rule, you see, for F1. And let me put the manager here. That's so it's DMZ DNS 53 to local DNS any UDP permit. This is the first rule. The second rule is from web server. Exactly. What is the port? Now it's any. Okay, because web server here is the client for the database. It doesn't want to give service to database. It wants to receive data from database. So web server is a client for database. So we say to DB server. Okay, and then any TCP database server. What was the port for database server? It was 443. TCP permit. Okay, so Mohammed, ZED domain name system now this error to update their local DNS. Exactly. DMZ in DNS to local DNS. And DMZ in DNS to local DNS. Actually, Mohammed, something that we do, I will explain it later. Okay, after I finish the rules, I will explain it later. Something that we do is that we update the local DNS from DMZ DNS, and we update the DMZ DNS from Google DNS. So for Google DNS, DMZ DNS is client. For local DNS, DMZ DNS is client. Okay, something like this. So they won't have problem or no error. Okay, so web server with any to database server 4043 we allow. This is the web server, and then from what we need, okay, we need manager, we need it's out, we need from DB server. Oh no, it's not out in. Okay, if out in, it's manager, and with any port DB server and it was 41443 TCP permit. Okay, so this is from manager, any port to DB server 4043 TCP we allow or we permit. Okay, now web server and manager can access the database server. So we talked about DMZ, we opened web server, and we opened manager. I think it's now, yes, exactly, Rasha. Manager is internet, but we opened the database server for that. It's dangerous, but I had a purpose to add it to the example because I wanted to show you how we open one connection on both firewalls. Okay, I will explain it later. And then the last rule is that it was good that you noticed this one. It's wrong. In design, this is wrong. Any from any source to any destination TCP UDP deny. Okay, any TCP UDP deny. So we close everything. Okay, now it's up to you. Okay, everybody, just for yourself as the example or tamreen. Okay, write F2 into out. Okay, and then you can submit through the portal. I will define it on the portal, and then you write it yourself. So now we go. So this is easy. Okay, this is the easy example. Let me just take my pen. This is a easy homework. Okay, F2 into out. This is your homework. Okay, for next week. Okay, this is your homework for next week, the F2 one. So I will go, if you want to take a screenshot from the example and put it in the group, please do it, because I want to just start adding something to the image. Just if you want to take a screenshot or capture it and put it in the group, please do it. This is, yes, thank you, Hussein. This is F1. This is F1. Okay, I fixed it. So you see what happens here. It's now let me remove the pointers. Okay, you see what happens here in the design. When you have something, for example, from the manager, we start from the manager. it wants to send the information, for example, to the database. First, it goes to the first firewall, it allows the packets to pass, then it goes to the second firewall. It allows the packets to pass, and then it goes to the database, because we said from manager any port it can go to database port 1443 on both firewalls. Okay, when the database wants to reply to the manager, it sends the packet to manager's IP. So it goes to the first firewall. For example, in F1 from in out you should say from database server port 4043 allow the data to go to manager, but manager, whenever the manager is client, you use any. Okay, so when it goes to the second firewall, you also need to just pass through the second firewall, and then it goes to the manager's home. So this is easy and it works. Okay, the second rule, it was about, or another rule, it was about DNS. You see what happens with the DNS when the users ask DNS, for example, where is Yahoo? Okay, when users ask DNS where is Yahoo, and DNS, for example, wants to say it's 217.219.86. okay, it says that okay, Yahoo is here. Okay, if the local DNS knows the answer, it will reply to the user. Here we don't have firewall, so they can easily communicate. It's open. Okay, if it does not have the answer, it goes to the DMZ DNS. We set for local DNS to ask DMZ DNS, so it will ask DMZ DNS, okay, that what is Yahoo. It will ask DMZ DNS what is Yahoo. Okay, if DMZ DNS knows the answer, it will reply. If it does not know the answer, again it should go to the internet, and here it should pass the second firewall, F2. If you look at the F2 rules, we say that okay, if DMZ DNS wanted to connect to the Google DNS port 53, just permit it. Okay, this is this rule. Okay, this rule. So it goes to the Google. Google will reply to the DMZ DNS, so it will ask Google if it doesn't know the answer. When it replies, again you are on F2. Okay, again you are on F2, but it's inverse. It comes from F2 out to in. We say from Google DNS port 53, because Google DNS is someone that should reply. It's the server, and it goes to DMZ DNS any port. UDP, we say that allow the rule or permit. Okay, then Google DNS will allow the rule, and then DMZ DNS will send it to the local DNS, and the local DNS will answer the user's question. Okay, and even you know, if the Google DNS also doesn't know the answer, so the answer is that the web page does not the web page does not exist, or something like that. This is the actually solution. And then another way to another rule that we want to talk about it is the relation between the web server and the database server. Okay, I use another color for the web server and database server. You see, for the web server, when everybody wants to work with web server from the internet, okay, for example, one user is here, one user is here, one user is here, everybody from the internet can access the web server. What we say that on F2 out to in. Okay, F2 out to in. About the web server, we say everybody on the internet with any port can connect to the web server port 80. Okay, we say you permit everybody from the internet or anybody from the internet to access the web server. It can be from any place on the internet. But when they ask something from web server, for example, this web server is about your account, and you want to ask how much money you have in your account. Okay, for example, you want to ask how much money you have in your account. In this scenario, the web server should go through this firewall and ask database for the amount of money that exists in your account. Okay, it should go and ask database server, and database server should reply it again through the first firewall and reply to the web server. So this is that hesab exactly. Thank you. So this is that on the first firewall we say, okay, for web server allow, let me separate these two. It's the line, okay, and these are the 4 set of rules. Okay, for web server we say, for web server any port, it can work as a client or it can go to the database server to ask a question. What is the question? How much is the money in my account? Okay, this is the query. In database we say query. Okay, it sent the query to the database server, and database server will answer that the rule is in F1 into auth. We say database server from port 1443 we reply to the web server any port, okay, because web server is the client. Alam, yes, exactly. It will reply to the web server, okay, this is the money, and web server will reply to everybody on the internet, anybody who asks the question. And this one, when web server on F2 answers to anybody, it means that F2 into auth. You see web server port 80 allows to goes to any on the internet with any port, okay, can answer anyone on the internet with any port. So the question that Ibrahim asked, the question that Soal Ibrahim asked, that is it the general rule for every network? The answer is no. You see, in this network, if these are users, okay, these are users in this network, in my design, if the user want to work with the internet or go on the internet, what is it? In my design, there is no internet for users. Okay, you cannot let the, here it goes, the firewall will drop the packets. Okay, or if anyone from the internet, okay, from the internet, anyone want to enter the network or reply to the users, again we drop the packets. Okay, this is so for users we don't have internet, and maybe this is a big limitation for this network. Anyhow, it's one example. Maybe if in another example we say that, okay, open the users, you should give you should have the users IP and permit them to access the network, but again deny the any packets that go to the, for example, web server, or any packet that goes to DHCP server, or any packet that go to local DNS. Your rule list will be big. It will be big rule list. It will be قائمة القواعد الكبيرة. Okay, something like this. Okay, a long list, okay, or we can say long list for rules. Okay, قائمة طويلة, something like this. It will be a long list for accessing the networks. So this is it. This is one example. If you have any questions, you can any question you can ask. If no, I should discuss something else. Okay, just check Let's see whether you have question or no. Then I should discuss something very important with you. Okay, let me go to the another word. You see, your classes now is 2 to 4, okay, and then 4 to 6. Okay, now your class is 2 to 4 and 4 to 6 1 week in row. Okay, and then for Iranian is 4 to 6 again in row, and 6 to 8. Okay, this is the way that we arranged your class in the, now this is you, okay, this is you, and this is Iranian. Okay, is it clear? Okay, now something that I can talk to the university, because now you can stay online Iranian should come to university. Okay, now the problem is that you can stay online, but Iranian should come to the university. So my solution is that if possible, I should discuss it with you. If you agree, I should discuss it with Iranian. If they agree, from the next week we will do like this. You see, 3 sessions, 1 week for you, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and 6 to 8. 3 sessions next week. For Iranian, two to 4, 4 to 6. So it's that 1 week you will have 3 classes, 1 week next week okay. Okay, was it clear? Just hold. Okay, you see, just focus on the problem. For the exam, I don't know. Okay, for the exam, every week you ask same question. Okay, for exam, I don't know. Mustafa, something about the, please, Mustafa, listen. Okay. Regarding the homeworks, okay, the homeworks, the site won't be closed. Okay, so you can submit the homework, and whenever you submit, I will see the homework. It's okay, no problem. Riam, I didn't understand what you said. Just let me read one question, then we go. Okay, Riam said, just everybody, please stop typing because I'm reading Riam's long text, okay? And when you type, it goes up. I still couldn't understand him. Just please do not type for 1 second. Excuse me, doctor. Regarding the force assignment, shall I define the concept and the drawing and explain the method of attack in detail as an example of a Trojan horse attack? Force, yes, okay, as a type of virus. How the virus takes from the field, enter the, yes, you can, okay, but actually, to be honest, Riam, now I don't know what was the first example, okay? And then what was the, and then, and after he has planned his route inside the system, what happens to satisfied with the, yes, Riam, we can do that, okay, but it was too long. Doctor, that meant you take us 3 sessions in one class. Yes, exactly, Rasha, but now we discuss it. I haven't decided yet, and I haven't told you to do that, okay? Yes. Now, just please type it in. Take 3 sessions in one go. We are afraid that the exam will be attendance, and then the exam will be difficult. Muhammad Jaffer, whether the exam is in university or it's online, it's up to the university and the rules. It's not up to me. Okay, but for me, I'm giving you the homeworks and I'm giving you the questions. Okay, similar questions, something like this. And it's better that you study hard. Inshallah, you pass the exam. It will be no problem for you. So Riam, okay, doctor, thanks. Rasha, it's so too much, but if that you want and good for you, no problem. Yes, Rasha, it's you know 3 sessions is too much, but the problem, you know what is the problem, is that, for example, when you have 2 to 4, okay, and then 4 to 6 and 6 to 8, okay, when we have these times, okay, I should finish your class. For example, consider now it's 3:30, okay, I should consider your class here, okay, and then start to go to the university and start class here. It's a bit difficult because I should drive for about 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes to reach their class, okay, and that's the problem, that if I arrive late, I should just finish your class earlier or arrive to their class late, because that's in the university, and now I just take your class online. The questions are not difficult. Okay, Mohammed, questions are not difficult. You type, but let me check what is force assignment, because I don't know what is it. Let me check. There, so because when you refer to, just hold for a second, Mustafa, yes, it's a good idea. We can have the last one in the university, not online, but again you should ask it from university, not me. Let me go to your course, and I'm just checking the assignment to see what is the first assignment, so you see what is scenario hamalat. Okay, you see the fourth assignment, okay, scenario hamalat, it's very easy. For each of them, it's very easy. For each of them, define one attack or one hamle. For example, I just use our slide word 60, maybe not 60, 62. Listen, share 62. You see, for this one, for example, if you want to consider that you have this design, okay, and you want to write hamle or attack on جیم دسترسی پذیری, okay, if you want to write حمله or attack on دسترسی پذیری, you say, okay, I have this network, okay, and I will have one computer or attacker on the internet, okay, well, I will have one attacker on the internet, and then I will send many packets to the firewall. Okay, and I will send many packets to the firewall. So this is the OS. Just as easy as this one. I answered one of the questions. Okay, Saleh says it remains as it is. Okay. About the other students, I will ask your opinion and then I decide. It's up to you. If it's difficult for you, that come 1 week you don't have class, 1 week you have class, we can continue at this one. But this was the answer to the question 4. This was one answer. One DOS attack on دسترسی پذیری. Hey there, please type it in English. Vanet, yes, you can write it on Vanet if that's your question. Yeah, you can write it on Vanet. Okay, let me see. Question A. Every week, 2 classes. Yes, I can arrange that one, Muhammad. B. Two weeks in row, 3 classes. Okay, now I open the poll. Okay, you can answer to the question so I see what is your opinion. A is every week 2 classes, B is 2 classes in row, 2 weeks in row, 3 classes. Just answer the question. For you it will be online. It's like this, every week or every 2 weeks. Just answer the questions in polls. Please answer the question in the poll. Okay, it's on your window. You can choose. It's easier for you. It's all online. Mustafa, for you, it's all online. And please answer to inside the vote so I can count the result. It's easier. It will calculate itself. Okay? Hossein, answer inside the box. I can see the results. Still many didn't answer. You see Zulfaqar, Ehsan, Zoha, Ibrahim, Hussein Ali, Qasim, Hadi, Maryam. Still didn't answer. Saleh. Okay, everybody, if everybody answered, I just look at the answers. Students, please do not answer in the chat. Answer in the box. It's on your page. Okay, so it will count for me. Okay. Yes, Rasha said جواب داخل مربع الاختیارات. Not here. Okay. Hassan, Mustafa, Ehsan, please answer. Those who didn't answer, just let me see. Ehsan, Rasha also didn't answer. Hamd, Ali, Ala, Hussein, Maryam. Okay, they still didn't answer. Ali. Mustafa, it's better that you answer in the box, not in the chat room. Okay, answer in the box because it will calculate the answers for me. And still those who didn't answer: Ehsan, Hassan, Rasha Ali, Hamd Ja'far, Muhammad Ja'far, still no answer. Maryam Sattar, Noura Muhammad, they still didn't answer. Muhammad, I didn't understand what did you say. Yes, I'm Montazir answer in the chat box. In the box, not in the chat box. Okay, Russia, okay. Shad, maybe that's another Russia, because I see those who answered and those who didn't answer. Rasha Ali Ubud didn't answer. Hossein Ali Majid, Noorah Muhammad, Hamd Ja'far, Ali Adnan. They don't have answer. Okay, never mind. It's mostly they want every 2 weeks. They ask for every 2 weeks. Mariam, you should answer in the box, not in here in the chat. Okay, Riam, okay. So mostly it's I can broadcast the results. Everybody can, you can click and see the votes. Okay, it's 31% to 29%. Okay. Actually, Haydar, it's if we have each class in 2 weeks, maybe we have 2 or 3 classes, it's already finished. Okay, but if every week, I think we at least have another 4 weeks, at least another 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, or if 2 weeks in a row, 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, it's because it depends. It's now we are in 11th session and we should have 16 weeks. 16 weeks. No, another 5 weeks the semester ends. So 3 or 2 if you have class each 2 weeks, and 5 to 6 if you have every week. It's like that. So okay, you just answered. I know that some of you don't like to just make it like that, but most of you agree to make it 2 weeks in a row. I should also talk to the other class. Okay, I will talk to the other class and let you know. And for the someone that proposed the last week, we make the class not online. We attend the university to ask the questions and talk about the exams and everything. I also agree, but you can arrange that one with university, not with me. Okay, so this is it. This is end of our class. We can finish our class here. It was one session and we finished. I just write here. And happy Eid inshallah for you, and all of your prayers will be accepted by Allah inshallah in this holy month that we are about to finish it. I hope you enjoy your holiday, and then for the next class Ali will send me email, then I will tell him what is the policy for the next class. Anyhow, we will have, because next week you have 2 classes, we will have online classes next week. Okay, inshallah, we will have next week we will have online class. Answer upload in Darsa. Okay, Rasha, but I will first put the question, then you upload the answer. Okay, and next week for sure, just let me type this one. next week for sure we will have class is either 2 or 3 sessions, okay, and maybe it starts from 3 not 2. Okay, this is it. For sure next week we will have class. Maybe it's 2 classes or 2 sessions or 3 sessions. I still don't know. And maybe we start from 3, okay, with delay. But that's not also for sure. So because of that, which is not clear, Ali will send me email and ask me about the next class. I will let him know, and maybe Saturday or Sunday he will put in the group, okay, we have either 2 class or 3 class, and either we start from 2 or 3, but by now I cannot tell you. Okay, Ramadan Kareem, all your prayer will be accepted, and Eid Mubarak. I have nothing to say. Riyam, thank you very much, Riyam, as well for you, inshallah. Saleh, about the numarat and degree, first they also ask at the beginning of the class, okay, or at the beginning of the course. Everybody asks the same question. At first, let us see whether the exam is online or the exam is at the university. Okay, then I will tell you the details of the breakdown of the marks. Okay. But make sure that you just answer the homeworks and submit the homeworks. All the best to you as well. Okay, and then hide this one. I stop.